I do want to talk about how Shein tried to make a production hub in Brazil, and yet it didn't work out. As you know, Shein is notorious in making like cheap, ultra fast fashion clothing that we like buy and consume and throw away within days. But it's no small feat to like actually like run Shein. Like Shein's executives must be working just as hard as their underpaid garment workers because they're trying to find like the perfect country to like fuel the fire that they're on. And Brazil just didn't make the cut. So let me get into the details. Shein went to Brazil in hopes of making it the manufacturing hub for all of Latin America. And so they invested $150 million in partnerships to make clothing in 2,000 local factories, creating 100,000 fashion manufacturing jobs in Brazil by 2026. This is what their hopes were, but it didn't work out because Shein struggled with transportation and logistic challenges in Latin America's biggest economy, which is a vast country of more than 200 million people, due to the rural locations of some of its partners' plants, as well as strict labor regulations, including control on working hours and high taxes. So that's what people have said. And then two executives that are familiar with Shein's strategy in Brazil, not to be named, but confirmed that local production had fallen short of the company's original goals without providing figures. So something went wrong. Something went wrong. And then Shein went on to explain that the initiative did not go as planned. They explained that production in Brazil required time to mature, and soon differences in business and industrial infrastructure became apparent. So there seems to be a lot of corporate PR talk here to cover their BS, like always. But I do want to say that we have to break down the sentence. So production in Brazil required time to mature. So what that means for me is the industry was not there, and Shein tried to build it, but they were Shein tries to move too soon, and like I don't think the country could keep up whatsoever, or they weren't willing to invest more to have that infrastructure. It kind of reminds me of like how Trump said, oh, let's bring local fashion back into the United States, but like where is the local fashion infrastructure? You have to build it first so that you can produce. And I think Shein came in with the same mindset of like, oh, let's just make shit in Brazil and the industry will be there. No, like you can't magically like have something appear overnight. Like it takes time to build something, especially a fashion hub, or what they call a production hub. So they saw the differences and they explained that there was differences in business and industrial infrastructure, and that became apparent. So I think what this means is that they had the business strategy in set, like Shein had the business strategy in hopes and the investment there, the money, but the industrial infrastructure, like the actual building, the actual construction of the factories, of the area, was gonna take a while. And they also mentioned that it's rural, so I imagine the plants and like just the locations in itself were farther apart, and maybe within like natural, like untouched like grass or forest or locations like that haven't been really industrialized before. So now Shein is taking a more selective approach to deepen partnerships with the most capable factories, meaning, oh, we actually changed our mind and we're going to the more industrialized parts because we actually don't want to invest in your country because you don't have jack shit set up. That's what they're saying. But I think what appealed them to Brazil was like the cheap labor. I think there's a lot of people willing to work for cheap, which is not a good thing for anyone. Workers need to be paid more. We need to value people more in general if they're going to be giving their labor to us. And then like corporations, like why are you extracting resources and labor from the most marginalized communities in the world? You know, like everyone deserves better. Shein needs to do better. And I'm definitely blaming Shein for this downfall. It's not Brazil's fault. Like Shein should have known better. I think Brazil was just really excited to be part of something and like provide jobs to their community, which I applaud, but Brazil could have like been like, so where is this actually gonna fucking happen? You know? Okay, imagine this. This is my idea. Imagine Shein is like, I don't know, like a friend, and you're Brazil. Brazil, you're broke. I'm broke. Okay, I'm Brazil. I'm broke. And then Shein, my friend, is like, yo, I got this business plan. We're gonna make bank. We're gonna make a million. And I'm like, for sure, buddy. It's just, I don't have the space. But I'm not honest with Shein. I'm going to be like, oh my God, for sure we can do this. For sure I'll give you my house that has no space in it. And Shein's like, okay, you're down, I'm down. And then Shein realizes there's nothing there and we have to build everything. Well, obviously Shein is going to back out. So there was a lot of like things that needed to be communicated, but Brazil, I feel like, just wanted to bring an opportunity to their country, and Shein just didn't do their homework. So it's a lose-lose situation for both of them, but I really freaking want Shein to lose more. Like, I think we can go thrifting. We don't need Shein, and I'm never going to defend Shein. And I don't think that cheap clothing is a good excuse for what's happening in the world